It's that time again when Pokemon Go videos aren't doing as well as they usually do. This has happened a few times before, so it isn't anything new, but this time I feel like the scenario's a bit different, because previous scenarios usually fell into the one category of there being no major event or update to the game, so nobody really cared. But this time a huge feature came out, something that actually players have been anticipating for 2.5 years, with some big events to go along with it. Which is a point I brought up in my videos talking about why PvP would fail. Which, even though a majority of my predictions about how the PvP system would work were wrong, my prediction on how it would end up was actually right. Basically, to sum it up, I brought up that you can do as many crazy battles as you want, but it's gonna get really boring really quickly, and that very soon after it would launch, nobody would really care for it anymore. Which, if you look at some Pokemon Go channels and see their PvP videos, it kinda shows. Which a poll made by Trainer Tips actually shows how much people care for this. Now, if you look on his Twitter, he made a poll talking about if people actually care about the PvP system in Pokemon Go. Now, even though the results were very half and half, no did win in the end. And with the amount of votes that it got, it shows that a lot of people do not care for this. And he also created a follow-up poll to add some extra information on it, asking how people have been doing with the PvP system for those that don't care about it. Now, I don't know what he was trying to get out of that, or like what kind of data he could have even gotten out of that, but it shows that a majority of the people who don't care for the system are actually doing pretty good when it comes down to winning battles. And going to YouTube now, what's actually really interesting, Mystic7 and Trainer Tips have actually both made videos talking about if the PvP system was a failure, which is actually pretty interesting because I didn't expect them to make a video talking about that, but it kind of makes sense for how it's been affecting channels right now. Now, basically, PvP's release was very sloppy. Big surprise. Typical bugs that don't even make sense, and just even lag just ruined the system when it came out. Did you know that when PvP came out that Alolan Pokemon were now being treated as if they were their Gen 1 counterparts? With their typing showing the Alolan versions, but actually being used as their Gen 1 typings. So Pokemon like Alolan Ninetales, a Pokemon that is originally treated as an Ice and Fairy type, was being treated as if it was a Fire type. This bug obviously messed with some PvP battles and some raids, but what it messed up the most was the tournament. So some YouTubers grouped together in order to do a PvP battle tournament not too long ago in order to just prove who was the best at PvP. From the two finalists, Alolan Pokemon were actually being used as some of their main Pokemon for the battle. And if you were there to watch the stream, you would know that one of the finalists, Secret League, used an Alolan Marowak in his team, with the other finalist, Dark Matter Wolf, also having an Alolan on his team as well. But throughout this entire tournament, not a single word was said about the glitch, until the very last match when Mystic7 and Trainer Tips confirmed that this was an actual bug in the game. They weren't allowed to change teams, which means that they were stuck with the Pokemon that they had. And with Alolan Marowak's advantage with this bug, Secret League was easily able to defeat Dark Matter Wolf in the 4 battles that they did. Which is just baffling, because how could they even manage to make a bug that bad that doesn't even have to do with the PvP system? Like, sure, I guess you have to use the Pokemon in order to battle, but like, it didn't have any major role in the PvP system. So for something so different to get affected is just very confusing. And as I was editing, it turns out that they released a new update that fixed the Alolan typing glitch. I am glad that they did fix the glitch, but it took them over a week to do it, and just the fact that that glitch happened in the first place is just very odd. But yeah, I wanted to bring that up because the update just came out and I wanted to address that. And along with the other bugs that came up with this update, just people have lost interest very quickly. Because all PvP really did was just add a new method for you to get new levels for your friendship, and getting Sinnoh Stones as well. And I've already slightly complained about how bad Sinnoh Stones were being treated before, and now I guess it is a little better, but it's just become a grind session. You just do your 4 battles for items a day and then you're done. The badges that came along with it just seem to be time wasters and filler, with the only way of upgrading the badges actually winning the battle rather than just playing it, which just becomes more time consuming because there's 1 badge per league, which means you have to repeat the process 2 more times than you actually really need to. And I get it, times like this have happened before, they always bounce right back. Reviews just die down for a little bit and then they, you know, come back just the same as they always were. But this time it's just a little more interesting just because of the fact that so many things are happening in the game, yet nobody's caring about it. But specifically the PvP system, as it seems like people are giving interest into the Christmas event. But with the current state of PvP right now, the Pokemon Go YouTubers actually seem a bit confused over how their videos have been treated lately, with, to show again, the views just not reaching the same level as their other videos. Now, Trainer Tips and Mystic7 did make their own videos addressing this issue, and although I'm yet to see Trainer Tips' video, Mystic7 still does defend PvP. Which, if you enjoy the PvP system, I don't mind, but you still have to see that there are some pretty bad bugs that came with this update that have been impeding with how PvP actually should have worked. And there could be some other topics I could talk about as well, like how they're treating the second charge move, but for now, I wanted to talk about the bugs because this is the most pressing issue, which I don't expect them to fix for some time now. Like, still, the friends list is broken and it's been months. And they did add a search bar, which was something that people wanted, but that just goes around the issue rather than just resolving it, as the game still crashes frequently when you're trying to go through your friends list. So I'm not expecting any of this to be resolved anytime soon, and it seems like the people that see PvP as boring have followed that as well, as the interest in PvP just dropped so quickly. But this is going to be forgotten. There's not going to be any big issue with PvP anymore. It's probably going to move on to something else like the next big event, and PvP will just not be a video subject anymore. And speaking of which, looking at Mystic7's channel right now, he just posted a video about a heat ran PvP battle which is not doing too well on the startup. He even made a video talking about what's wrong with PvP in Pokemon Go, and even that's not doing too well. And PvP is just truly something that could have been great for the game, but was treated so poorly that just nobody cares for it. A lot of people that I knew actually wanted to get back into this game solely for the reason that PvP was coming to the game. And when it first came out, a lot of people that I saw who never played the game before were actually playing Pokemon Go. But once that first day passed, they already lost interest. But I still think it's just such an interesting scenario of just how something that could have been so good for the game just ended up being so bad. And not only bad for the game, but bad for the YouTubers as well. Like, even the big Pokemon Go channels have been hit pretty hard by this PvP update, which shouldn't have even happened. But even though I did say will possibly eventually pass, deep down inside, I think there's something worse going on here. I think PvP was the first stepping stone to a larger event that's going to be happening that is going to tear apart the Pokemon Go YouTube community, as it seems that all channels have basically been dying down now. And you could say that PvP was a role in this. It seems like it's just a matter of people getting bored of the game. And as these updates usually bring back interest, this new one, which should have been a major event, did not. And now that pretty much the last core feature that needed to be added into Pokemon Go is done, there isn't really much more to anticipate. Sure, there might be some future events like, you know, the Valentine's Day event that's going to be coming in a few months. But really, what is it compared to, you know, just the idea of PvP in Pokemon Go? And with that to fail so badly, there really isn't much left. And although not every Pokemon Go channel has been affected by this specific reason, as others have messed up their view counts in other ways, I think that the failure of PvP might actually be a start for a very dark time for Pokemon Go YouTubers. And I'd like to know your opinion in the comments below, as I'm not entirely sure if other people share the same idea of how big this issue might be. I'm looking forward to making more videos as my schedule is a lot more open now. I haven't been able to really go out and enjoy the Christmas event, so now that I have some more time, I'll be able to actually finally play. I might make some videos if the spawns are good, but from what it looks like right now and how they've been treating the Gen 4s that were added with this event, I think that the spawns that could have actually made for a good video are a lot more rare than they actually should be. But I don't know, I still need to get heat ran in, hopefully shiny Delibird, and I've got a lot more Sinnoh Stones, so at least that's something I can use. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You can check out this video right here on my predictions of PvP, and even though most of them turned out to be wrong when PvP eventually came out, I believe that the core idea of the video is something worth listening to, as I also made an update video addressing the issues. You can also check out this video, which is a pretty successful shiny hunt that I made when I was in New York. And again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.